January 2nd, 1904. There is no other choice. I must be an actress. I feel a little bad when I say this, but forget Marie Curie. Forget Orville and Wilbur. I know my true calling now. Acting. Last night, when we went to the Eden Theater and saw Shulamith, Oi, Goitenu, oh dear God, how else can I describe my feelings? What a story! And there is a part for me, one of the children who gets killed. I should be so lucky to die on stage. This play, Shulamith, or The Daughter of Zion, is set in ancient Judea, and it is the most wonderful love story. I cried my heart out. I cried my guts out. I would not mind discovering radium and plutonium. I would not mind flying a flying machine. But it would be settling for me. It would be a second choice. Papa says he will try and get me pictures of some of the stars, like Sigmund Mogilevsko and Bessie Tomaszewski, for my wall. He says the greatest actress of the Yiddish theater is Esther Rachel Kaminska, but she is still in Poland. Oh well, I will go to more theater here, Papa promises. Meanwhile, only 6 days until the big first concert of the Russian Symphony Society. It is to be at Cooper Union. New York, get ready. Here comes Stravinsky. January 4th, 1904. It was a beautiful sunny day today. It feels like spring in the middle of winter. But this confuses, because it is like a little joke when you know so much more cold winter is to come. You cannot get too full of hope. But Yitzy and Blue and I go to our favorite soda shop on Ludlow Street, and we take our soda to the curb and sit in the sunshine. The streets run with water. We even take off our shawls and waist jackets. We see children. Little girls do the hopping game over puddles. We each are very quiet. Then suddenly Yitzy says to me, nodding toward the children hopping puddles, "What do you see there?" "I see kids," I say. "I see customers," Yitzy answers. I do not know what he is talking about, and Blue does not either. "Customers," we both say. "Little customers," he replies. I must explain now in Yiddish. So Yitzy points out how most all the women and children wear shawls, not cloaks. Uptown, he says, women of fashion and more well-to-do women wear cloaks. Cloaks are really more practical. They can have pockets, and you do not have to hold them with your hands. They can be lined and warmer. But we're not uptown, says Blue. Nobody has enough money here. But supposing we make a cheaper version that people can afford? Nobody has ever thought of cloaks for little girls. Think how much easier it would be to wear a cloak and play in a cloak rather than a shawl. I immediately see Yitzy's point. Yitzy says he is going to get his father, who is a good designer, to design a few cloaks, some for little girls, some for grown-up ladies, all looking very stylish, but not costing much money. He then asks if my mother will make up the samples. I think it is really a good idea, so I say I'll talk to Mama about it. That's all for now in English or Yiddish. I have many long division problems, and I am going to try and memorize Mr. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem about the midnight ride of Paul Revere. Maybe if I recite this poem good, I can ride to 4th grade. Ha ha. I must be getting better with English if I make word joke like that. January 5th, 1904. Mama likes the idea of making samples for Mr. Silver's designs. 2 more days until concert. I cannot wait. January 6th, 1904. I cannot believe it, but I heard it when I was out in the hall, coming across the air shaft, and I understood almost everything. Finally, Mrs. Sheehan spoke up to the grouchy old lady. She said very clearly, "I am not a sneaky Protestant. I am as Catholic as you are, and if you don't shut that ugly face of yours, I am going to go to the priest and tell him." Unfortunately, I did not understand what Mrs. Sheehan was going to tell the priest. It must be something bad that the old lady did. Hooray for Mrs. Sheehan! January 8th, 1904. The concert was wonderful. It was held at Cooper Union at Astor Place in the Great Hall, and there were some real uptown people there. Women in cloaks, not just shawls. Yitzy's right. But most important, Papa played magnificently. He played the brand new Sibelius Concerto in D minor to perfection. That is what I heard a man near me say. They want Papa to play in more concerts. Just imagine if Papa could give up his job in the shop and teach violin and play in an orchestra all the time. Mama was happy too, but she did look odd. I do not think there was one other lady there in a wig. They were all so fashionable. Mamma was studying their cloaks. The lady sitting in front of us had one with a very stylish stand-out collar, and Mamma said she saw how it was faced on the inside, and she will tell Mr. Silver about it for his designs. January 9th, 1904. What a day! As if there was not enough excitement last night with the concert. We were all sound asleep when there came a loud knocking at our door. It was Blue. Her mother's time had come. We were all in a flurry, for Mamma had promised to go help. Papa was sent to fetch a midwife. In all the excitement, no one noticed that Miriam was not there. But then Miriam comes in, and she is wearing her heaviest shawl. It is obvious that she had not come in from the lavatory, but no one notices, except me. So I whisper to her, "Miriam, you had better be more careful sneaking around with Sean." Her face froze. So that's how I finally told her I knew. Just popped out, like Mrs. Wolf's baby, a little girl. So beautiful, fat and not so red like some, nor so wrinkled. Half an hour to Lichtenstein, but we are all so tired that all we are having is soup and potato kugel for Shabbos supper. No time to prepare more. January 12th, 1904. Mamma has begun on the first samples for Yitzy's father. I help with the cutting. Yitzy helps with the talking. He is going to drive me crazy. He talks all the time about uptown styles he sees. He talks about where to find facing for standout collars Mamma saw at concert. You would think he is Mr. Macy department store. I go to Blue's every day since she has to miss school to help with the new baby. I show her schoolwork. I try to help her, but she is falling behind. She don't understand the long division. She cannot read it all, the story we are on in the primer. I write words in big block letters she needs to know and tape them to a headboard of her bed so she sees them when she wakes up and goes to sleep. But her little brother tears the paper down. Oh dear, I worry. January 14th, 1904. Finally, I really talked to Miriam about Sean. She started crying and says that she is so in love. They want to get married. I gasped when she told me this. She said, "But I am almost 16 now." She says back in Zurich, the matchmaker would have already found a husband for her. The Shadchen would have found a Jewish one, I point out. Tova doesn't know. I can't believe that I know something Tova doesn't know. But this is all very confusing. I don't want Miriam to get married. It will upset Mamma and Papa so much, and just when things are going so well. Mamma has her dressmaking, and Papa is playing his violin again. January 17th, 1904. The weather has turned freezing cold again. Tonight when I went to bed, I noticed this beautiful light coming through the window in the parlor. I could not imagine what it was. And then I saw. It was moonlight wrapped around icicles. Tomorrow I go with Mamma uptown to deliver the rest of the uniforms for the staff of the lady. The governess delivered the first bunch, but the lady is so pleased she wants Mamma to come herself and take measurements for a dress for her. This is all working out so well. January 19th, 1904. Well, I never! We went uptown. The Myers' house is on West 45th Street, just off 5th Avenue. First we were led into a reception hall. There was a tree, would you believe it, in the reception hall? A living, growing tree. Miss Caroline, the governess, said it was a palm tree, and that they grow in Florida, where President Roosevelt is protecting the birds. Every surface of every wall was covered with something fancy. Sometimes a tapestry with a picture of unicorns, or half-naked people, gods and goddesses, I think, from mythology. And every window had fancy curtains with fringe and swags. And then there were pedestals with marble sculptures of men's heads, no ladies. Mrs. Myers' boudoir, where Mamma made the measurements, looked like a forest of roses. Everything in shades of rose or pink or red. And roses in vases and on cushions and little naked angels, the kind they call cupids, flying around in paintings or carved into the molding of the ceiling. I thought it was a little strange, because in each corner of the room there was a cupid perched, but just his head and wings. It was like they had been chopped by a guillotine, the way they did in the French Revolution. Chopped-up angels are not my idea of beauty. I could not believe it when Mamma told me that the Myers are Jewish. She says they are German Jews, and that is different. But Blue Wolf is a German Jew, and she is not this way. Mrs. Meyer was very nice, but I hated the two daughters, Flora and Rosellen. They were very snobby and stuck up. Miss Caroline asked them to entertain me in the music room. So they took me there, but they just lounged on these puffy chairs, and I had to sit on a hard one, and then they talked in very fast English. I know they did this on purpose. I went over to the piano, and I saw music for a piano concerto, Schumann in A minor. So I said, I know this piece. My father has played the violin part in it. When I speak, they snicker behind their hands at my English. And then they each pick up books and read and do not pay one bit of attention to me. January 24th, 1904. Papa starts Sunday rehearsals again. I love to go with him because he rehearses in the building right next to the theater where we saw Shulamith. Tova and Mandy and a friend of Mandy's named Mamie came. Mamie is so nice and very pretty. I tell her that I love the Yiddish theater. She says she knows people who work there and will take me over sometime. January 26th, 1904. Guess what? Mamie comes looking for me after school. She says I can come quick with her. There is a rehearsal for a new play. I can come and watch. This is the most exciting day of my life. We sit in the dark theater, only a few people. We see the great actors in their street clothes walking around on stage with their pages of script in hand. I love this. Mamie introduces me to her friend. He is boyfriend, I think, and he works backstage. He is very nice. His name is Boris. He says any time I want to come, I just come over. If I am quiet like a mouse, no problem. February 3rd, 1903. I think I should probably be writing you in English, because my teacher says I am really progressing. But she does not know that when I really feel something strongly, there is only one language for me, Yiddish. This is what I feel so strongly about, the theater. Mamie has taken me twice now to the Eden Theater, and I get to watch all the rehearsals. The play they are rehearsing is Mirel Ephros, or Queen Lear. Mandy tells me it is fashioned after none other than Mr. William Shakespeare's King Lear, but is actually a better story. Mamie is so lovely. She is 2 years older than Tova, 19. She is so pretty. She has this poofy reddish blonde hair and dark eyes, and her face looks so delicate. And I love the way Mamie ties her scarf. Not all tightly wrapped like the women in the shtetl. No, she does this beautiful thing where it looks like a picture frame around her face. She is going to show me how to do it. She has so much style, Mamie does. She works, like Tova, in a shirtwaist factory. It is called the Diamond Factory. She is a finisher. She is a member of the Yiddish Jugend. This is how she knows Tova, but she does not seem as serious as Tova. And you know she fixes herself up a bit. Tova never does that. She never fluffs her hair, and she never puts on rouge, which I am sure Mamie does. Oh well. February 8th, 1904. Guess what? Mamie knows about Miriam and Sean. She says Tova knows about them now, but was thinking I do not know. I tell Mamie, tell Tova I know. I might be 12, but I know. So there. I think I might as well tell Tova myself. February 9th, 1904. Tova knows I know. She is very surprised I know this for so long time, longer than she knows it. We worry together about Miriam now. Miriam needs all the people to worry about her. You can never have enough people to worry about you if you are a Jewish girl in love with a Gentile fellow. This can be a very big problem. We all like Sean, at least Tova and I do, but this is big trouble. That is all I can say. There is not enough English to say all these troubles that they might have. February 10th, 1904. Things are happening fast. Not enough that I have this crazy Meshuggah sister in love with an Irish fireman. Not enough that I am trying to get promoted to 4th grade. Not enough that Papa is rehearsing Rachmaninoff. Mandy calls it Rachmaninoff the Grand Canyon of musical compositions, especially the Rachmaninoff No. 3. Okay, not enough that Mama is making up all these samples for Yitzi's dream customers. Now I tell you what Tova has to go and do. Organize a union. She is going to be in big trouble. This could be bigger trouble than a Jewish girl in love with a Gentile. This is bigger than the Rachmaninoff No. 3. This is big trouble. So long, auf Wiedersehen, German, Zay Guzna, Yiddish, Das Vidanya, Russia. P.S. War between Japan and Russia broke out the day before yesterday. Just thought I'd mention it. February 12th, 1904. Papa brought home 2 newspapers, the Jewish Daily Forward and the New York Times, and I was able to translate the Times and fill in with the forward the war news. Japanese naval forces attacked Port Arthur in the southern Manchuria, which is in China, and they bottled up the Russian ships. It is the first war with something called landmines, which are things that explode out of the ground and kill people by the dozens, and torpedoes, which whiz through the air and also kill people by the dozens. Isn't this amazing, all the ways people can think of to kill people? Oi Gewalt. February 14th, 1904. There is this wonderful holiday here in America. It is called St. Valentine's Day. It is all about love. So, guess what? Oh, this is so romantic. Sean gave Miriam a beautiful heart-shaped card. It was edged with lace and had flowers printed on it and a beautiful girl on a swing. And the paper was scented with perfume. Miriam, of course, had to hide it in case Mama finds out. But she told me where she hid it and said it would be fine for me to take it out and look at it any time Mama wasn't around. So, happy St. Valentine's Day. February 18th, 1904. How could 2 sisters be so different from one another than Miriam and Tova? On the very day that Miriam was blushing from her hairline to her collar over the valentine that Sean gave her, Tova was organizing a cloth workers' union for women in the needle trade. She and her friend Bessie and another girl went over to the United Cloth Hat and Cap Makers Union and told the boss that they would like to form a women's union. The boss told them that they needed 25 other women from many different factories before they could be given a charter and become an official union. Tova wants to force the management of the factory where she works to treat the women at least as good as the men. Women have to wait longer on payday, and their toilets stink, so it is mostly money in toilets. Mama is furious. She said unions are for men, not women. A woman who joins a union will never get married. She then said a favorite Tanta Fruma, better to be a wise person in hell than a fool in paradise. I guess paradise is supposed to be the union, and hell is the shirtwaist factory where Tova works. Then they trade Tanta Frumas for a while. Tova, a boil is fine as long as it's under someone else's arm. Mama, the chicken who sticks its neck out gets its head chopped off. Tova, God loves the poor and helps the rich. That's why we have to get our own union. Mama, the poor and the rich in the bath are both equal. I have nothing to add to this conversation. February 22nd, 1904. Guess what? Tova has her union. She and Bessie got all the signatures. They call their union the Working Women's Circle. Tova is the president. Who else? February 25th, 1904. Guess what? I got promoted. I am officially a 4th grader now. Teacher is not sure about Blue. She must think about it. But I am so excited I cannot tell you. When you are a 4th grader, you learn many more poems, and you get to copy in your copybook parts of important American historical writings, such as Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, and the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. I won't be a greenhorn, no, anymore. I am becoming a true Yankee. I am going to write much more in English now. February 26th, 1904. Blue is not going to be promoted. This is so sad for me. What will I do without Blue? What will Blue do without me? I went to teacher and begged after school. I said I would help Blue, and so would our friend Yitzi, who is very smart. Teacher was very cold to me. She says, "This is not your business, Zipporah. This is not a decision for a child." This makes me very angry when grown-up people talk this way to me. Children are not too young to work long hours in the shops. Children are not too young to be left on purpose by their fathers, as Blue and her sisters and brothers were. I start to explain to teacher about Blue's father and how much work she has at home now, but teacher turns her back and begins writing next week's spelling words on the blackboard.